We're continuing to follow this breaking news in Chesapeake early this morning. A shooting at the Walmart on Sam's Circle, and we know police have just confirmed they believe that multiple people were killed.
We are told there was one shooter and they are likely dead. Sarah Hammond is live with us now near the scene. Sarah, what have you learned at this point from investigators?
Okay, guys, yeah, like you said, this is a very active, fluid scene still. This Walmart area is blocked off. This is right off of Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. So far, we know that police believe there was an active shooter. They believe it was just one person. They also believe that person is dead, and they do say there are multiple fatalities and injuries inside. Chesapeake police say they believe at this point there are less than 10 fatalities. They're still sweeping the area to see if there are more victims inside. They're still actively searching for the shooter, but again, they believe that shooter is dead. And there is if you think your loved one shops here at this Walmart and you're concerned about them, there is a family reunification area at the Chesapeake Convention Center. But I'm going to step out of the way so you guys can kind of take a look at all of this activity behind me. There are dozens of police, fire, EMS, just covered this entire area. Again, it's all blocked off, so no one can come in here. Again, the Family Reunification Center is at the Chesapeake Convention Center, so if you think you had someone, a family member, a friend who was shopping at this Walmart that we believe is open 24 hours, then try and go meet them there. Again, police say this is such a fluid situation. They responded as if this was an active shooter situation. They say they've been trained for this. They came in ready. The call came in a little after 10 o'clock, but that's kind of what we know right now. We're waiting, for more updates from Chesapeake police, of course, at this point.
Sarah, do we know if the victims are in the parking lot of the Walmart or inside, or some combination of both?
It appears to be some combination of both. Chesapeake police told us most are inside. They do say one fatality is out in the parking lot, but again, most of this took place inside this Walmart here.
Sarah, we see you are a bit away from the parking lot and the store itself. That is a very busy area. It's busy for shoppers. We know that Walmart is a very busy Walmart. Are they keeping folks away that could be driving by or coming through? We also know there's housing over there. There are apartments near there.
Right. So this whole area, this Sam's Club, or this Sam's Boulevard is blocked off. You cannot go either way. We are stationed here at the Carl's Wash by the Texas Roadhouse, kind of in this same shopping center, but they are, again, not letting people into this area because they're still sweeping the building. Like we said, they're still looking if there are possibly any more victims. It's a large Walmart. They don't know how many people were inside at the time the shooting started.
Do you see anybody coming close that may be concerned about a relative? I know you mentioned the family reunification area. If you could reiterate that for us, where folks should go.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it is at the Chesapeake Convention Center. They're asking everyone not to come to this Walmart, but to go there if you think someone family, friends were inside this Walmart. But we have seen, as we were driving in, we came really straight to this Carl's Wash, but as we were coming in, we did see a couple of people kind of standing on the outskirts of this scene, trying to see what was going on. It's unclear if they were inside of the Walmart and came out, or if they lived nearby. Like you said, there are apartments near here. We're not sure where exactly they came from, but we have seen some people kind of looking to try to figure out what in the world is going on.
Sarah, have police given us any indication as to when they might update us with better information than we have so far?
That is unclear at this point. They want to get, like they said, a little bit more that they can give us. They're still, like I said, inside, kind of sweeping, kind of still figuring some things out, so kind of piecing things together. Before we get another update, we're hoping within another hour or so, but I did ask, and the answer was they aren't sure if the shooter came in with the intent to do this, or if they were already inside the store and some altercation of some sort broke out. They say they're not sure at this point. That is part of the investigation.
And no word yet on how the shooter may be associated with the store?
Correct. We asked if the shooter worked at Walmart and if any of the fatalities or the injuries were at Walmart employees. They said they do not know at this point, or they would not confirm at this point.
We located multiple fatalities and multiple injured persons. A little while later, through the course of providing treatment, we were able to establish that we believe it's a single shooter, and that single shooter is deceased at this time. That's really all we have to go on. It's a very active scene. We're just a little over 2 hours past it happening. That's kind of where we are. So.
Can you tell us, was the shooter involved in an officer-involved shooting, or did the shooter...
I don't believe so, but I can't say that for sure. So that's still be part of the investigation. It's all, because it all happened very, very quickly, very dynamic. A lot of people involved, a lot of officers. Kind of where we are.
Any clarity as to the relationship? Was he, or were they an employee, or was it a customer?
Do not know at this point. We're getting a lot of information coming in, and we're kind of investigating all that. We're looking into the relationships and all that.
And is there, if not an exact number, of range as to how many fatalities, injuries we're talking about here?
I don't. I apologize. Sorry. I do not have a range. It's been just multiple fatalities and multiple injuries, and all the injured were transported to area hospitals.
Sorry, is the shooter male and female?
Not at this time.
Any important information, because I know the Family Reunification Center is set up, any other information that families may be concerned?
Just that our Family Reunification Center is the Chesapeake Conference Center, and that's at 700 Conference Center Drive. So if you're looking to try to get a hold of a loved one that either worked here or might have been shopping here, that's where you should go, is that 700 Conference Center Drive, to try to locate your loved ones.
Any ideas of how many people were in the store when this was reported?
I don't. Obviously, it's a very large store. It's a super center. I mean, I don't know how many square feet. It's very, very large. I don't know how busy it was at the time. We're just a couple days away from Thanksgiving, so I don't know how much shopping. I don't know. We don't know how much shop. I don't know.
What's it been like for you all with police? Because Walmart's. These are big, square footage. What has that been like for you as far as investigating, canvassing the area, of course, responding directly on scene?
Well, as far as the investigation, it's basically an all hands on deck type situation at this point. We have many of our investigators here, and we just, piece by piece. We just take a little bit of time. We have plenty of time right now. The store's closed, so we're going to investigate until we get everything complete.
We've seen several people now leave the reunification center, the Family Reunification Center here at Chesapeake Conference Center. Unfortunately, just moments ago, I heard a woman wailing, grief-stricken, I presume. She is over with some of her family members right now over there. So some people here in Chesapeake are learning really sad news just days ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday. There are dozens of cars here in the parking lot, and what I do assume is that they go inside and that they're able to sit down inside. So while we don't see a lot of people over here in the parking lot, they are presumably inside the conference center at this time. Again, this is the reunification center for the immediate family members or the emergency contacts of those who may have been inside the Chesapeake Walmart on Sam Circle.
6 people have died, and we know at least 5 others are hurt after a shooting at a Walmart late last night. The gunman also dead. Thank you for trusting us to bring you this information. I'm Ashley Smith in our studio.
And I am Dan Kennedy, live outside of that Walmart off Battlefield Boulevard, Sam Circle, the exact street that this Walmart is located off of. Many of you will know it well. This morning, it is the scene of a mass shooting, and it is roped off with crime scene tape. The latest information in just a moment, but first, let me tell you what has happened within the last 10 minutes out here. Police have condensed this crime scene. This once encompassed this entire parking lot to include Walmart, the At Home, the Dollar Tree, the Sam's Club. But in the last 10 minutes, they have taken down the tape outside of the Sam's Club, outside of the At Home, and now it just ropes off this Walmart parking lot where there are still several dozen vehicles parked here. Inevitably and sadly, many of those vehicles belonging to some of the victims of this shooting. We can tell you that 6 of them were killed by this gunman. around 10:15 last night. And as Ashley mentioned, several others also treated at Sentara Norfolk General Hospital, though no exact word on their condition just yet. We've also reached out to other hospitals to find out if we can get any more information about whether they took in any shooting victims. But Sentara Norfolk General Hospital, the level 1 trauma center here in this area, it's likely any and all shooting victims went there. Casey Baylor joining me now with some team coverage, and just right before we came on air, we got an update from police about when we'd be hearing from them with perhaps more answers to some of our questions.
Yeah, and that's at 8 a.m. You know, we'll be there to cover that for you. But also want to talk about this scene. I mean, this is a place where people are shopping, getting ready for Thanksgiving, getting ready for Christmas. But now this is going to remain a crime scene over the next 5 days. We do know from police that the area is safe. There's no threat to the community. But again, this store is going to be closed over the next 5 days. We do know the FBI and the ATF are assisting Chesapeake Police in this investigation. Several officers still on scene here, as Dan mentioned, nearly 6 hours after receiving that call of a shooting here. We're told the shooting stopped just before officers arrived to the scene. And just a couple of hours ago, officers told us that the FBI was assisting as Chesapeake officers were sweeping through the store. That process, though, wrapped up around 3 a.m. this morning. Again, the city even set up a family reunification site at the Chesapeake Conference Center for immediate family members or those in the building at the time of that shooting. And again, Dan, as we mentioned, we're expected to get some more answers. Hopefully they'll be able to give us some more information about what led up to that shooting here late last night, I should say.
Right, yeah, and we'll be talking with law enforcement agencies there. Casey, thank you. It's Chesapeake Police, it's the ATF, it's the FBI, it's Virginia State Police, all aiding in this investigation. Now, you just heard Casey mention that Family Reunification Center. Let me give you the exact address because it is so important for so many of you who might be watching out there who think you might have had a loved one inside this Walmart. Currently, they're asking just immediate family members, or if you were the emergency contact of somebody who might have been in that store last night, then this address is for you. It's 700 Conference Center Drive. That is the place to go for the Family Reunification Center. Meanwhile, this morning, state lawmakers are reacting to this mass shooting. Senator Louise Lucas says that she is absolutely heartbroken that America's latest mass shooting took place in a Walmart in my district in Chesapeake, Virginia tonight. I will not rest until we find the solutions to end this gun violence epidemic in our country that has taken so many lives. Senator Mark Warner took to Twitter to say he's, quote, sickened by reports of yet another mass shooting, this time at a Walmart in Chesapeake. He says that he is watching any developments closely and urging those in the community to listen to guidance from law enforcement and to stay away from the scene. Also, we are hearing from Walmart reacting this morning. The company's official Twitter page saying, quote, we are shocked at this tragic event at our Chesapeake, Virginia store. We are praying for those impacted, the community, and our associates. We're working closely with law enforcement, and we're focused on supporting our associates. Ashley, this morning we can confirm through law enforcement sources one of those associates is the man responsible, the person responsible for this shooting. It was a Walmart employee who was the gunman, we are told. And 6 people are dead because of it, 7 when you include the shooter. The exact details on how that gunman died, we do not know. And Ashley, we're also working to learn more about those victims who were taken to the hospital. We will have answers for you throughout this morning.
Yeah, that's right, Dan. And let's actually bring in now Emily Harrison, who's at Sentara Norfolk General Hospital, where those victims were taken. Emily, what have you learned so far?
That's right. We are live outside of Sentara Norfolk General Hospital, where we are still waiting on word for the patients that were brought to this hospital. A spokesperson earlier told me that they are still waiting for an update as to their condition, and in the meantime showed me what the tent looks like and that level 1 response that they have out here by the emergency room. You can see the tent over there, and they actually have security inside the tent. We've been here for several hours at this point. I've seen several people going in and out, and each person as they do are waved down. This is going to be all part of that level 1 trauma center response, as this hospital is one of 5 level 1 centers in Virginia, 2 of which are connected with state university hospitals. Now, a level 1 trauma center, for those at home, is the highest or most comprehensive care center for trauma, capable of providing total care for every aspect aspect of injury, from prevention through rehabilitation. And through the several hours that we have been here, again, we have seen several people going in and out from that tent behind me, some of them in tears, some screaming, some yelling, others simply asking for directions, frantically trying to find a way in. So regardless, this is a very emotional night for Chesapeake and here in Norfolk as we continue to follow all the latest information. But for now, I'm going to send it back over to you guys over in studio. Live in Norfolk, I'm Emily Harrison, 13 News Now.
So we have a huge staff, over 3,000 employees, and then hundreds of doctors on our medical staff. We're a level 1 trauma center, and like Mr. Gauding said, we've been in that status for quite some time, and that involves having a lot of specialists on call for the hospital, a very dedicated trauma team for 24/7 coverage, and unfortunately we deal with events like this very frequently, violence in the community of various sorts, and so our teams are very ready to deal with this type of event.
Do you have any updates, specifics you're able to give about the two that are in critical condition at this time? You know, maybe like where they were shot or anything like that?
I can't share any of that information at this time, but sorry.
The last time we had a press conference similar to this was with the Virginia Beach mass shooting. We're here again. I guess what goes through your mind as a chief medical officer with these very serious violent acts?
So obviously with the health system or the hospital, what goes through our mind is how can we be ready for this? I think as a human being, as a father, as a family member of many people, my thought goes into how do we as a community prevent this kind of thing from happening so that we don't have this occur in the first place. So those are the thoughts that go through my mind.
Police have identified the suspected shooter as 31-year-old Andre Bing. They say he turned the gun on himself after shooting and killing 6 other people. Well, Chesapeake police spent the day combing through evidence at the Walmart, and they say it could take days to finish processing the scene.
That's right. Allison Basil spoke with a former Virginia Beach investigator who's giving us a breakdown of what's ahead for them. She joins us live from the Walmart on Sam's Circle.
Yeah, Janet, Philip, there are still a lot of questions about this mass shooting that need answers. And former Virginia Beach police spokesman Michael Carey says investigators will take their time going through every piece of evidence before opening up this Walmart to the public.
These types of scenes, unfortunately, nationwide are occurring on a more regular basis than anyone would have ever imagined.
As the community copes with another mass shooting in Hampton Roads, former investigator Michael Carey is looking at this tragedy through a different lens.
Quite a bit of moving parts to this investigation early on and throughout.
Carey spent 26 years with the Virginia Beach Police Department. He says right when an active shooter call goes out, police officers have one immediate goal.
You have to go to that shooter and neutralize the threat so no other loss of life takes place.
Chesapeake police say the shooter at the Walmart on Sam's Circle turned the gun on himself Tuesday night. Once first responders declared the scene safe and gave immediate aid to victims. Carey says the investigation began. He says that will take as long as it needs to.
Make no mistake about it. They're not in a rush. They want to gather the information. They want to gather the evidence.
Multiple agencies are assisting Chesapeake police, including the FBI.
The FBI has unfortunately seen it all nationwide, and they don't hesitate to bring in their professionals to assist.
Carey says all agencies will likely split the work.
Each entity is tasked with certain components of the investigation, whatever that might be.
Even though police confirm the shooter is dead, Carey says investigators will work hard to find out a motive.
If this was a planned out event, or did something happen earlier in the day on this person's shift that triggered them to do something this horrific.
And we also talked about the impact of what first responders saw inside that Walmart. And Carey says their department leaders will likely provide mental health professionals with peer support or a critical incident debriefing where they can come together and talk about it. Live in Chesapeake, Allison Basil, 13 News Now.
Well, along with the FBI, we know state police and the Bureau of Alcohol, Firearms and Tobacco from Washington, D.C. are also helping in this investigation.
It's a new perspective in the mass shooting overnight. We want to warn you, some of the audio you're about to hear could be hard to listen to. Alex Littlehills walks us through the initial moments of chaos from the viewpoint of the first responders on scene.
The first sounds of the tragedy in Chesapeake.
At the Walmart, 16-year-old male is conscious, is breathing, causes a gunshot wound. There is serious bleeding.
Before anyone knew of the chaos that would follow, radio traffic from Chesapeake Fire and Rescue just after 10 o'clock reveals how quickly the scene and information changed outside the Walmart on North Battlefield Boulevard.
You have a number of patients.
Within minutes, responders worked to save lives at a scene not yet secured by police.
It's unknown where the suspect is, advising that he entered the break room and shot someone. Advising that he possibly is still in the break room, still have not advised being safe.
The number of victims would only grow as the night went on.
Right now, PD has only confirmed 3.
And with each new patient came calls for more medical support.
Another person just wheeled out the front door.
Notifying Norfolk General that we have multiple GFWs going in our location.
Number jumping to 7 deaths, including the gunman, by Wednesday morning. The need so great, neighboring cities were called to help.
Contact Portsmouth, Norfolk, and Virginia Beach. They can each send us one medic unit.
Based on radio traffic response, the investigators cleared the scene within 2 hours. Now begins the next chapter of healing from this tragedy.
We got confirmation from PD there are no other victims within the store.
Police identified 6 of the victims today. They did not release the name of the youngest, who is just 16 years old. And today, Walmart confirmed the gunman, Andre Bing, was an overnight manager.
We have team coverage. Angelique Arentalk will show us how the community is honoring the shooting victims. But we start with Sarah Hammond live outside Centera Norfolk General with more on who the victims were and those who survived. Sarah?
When a Walmart manager opened fire in a break room Tuesday night, it sent people running. There were about 50 people in the store at the time. Most of them made it out safely, but 6 did not. It's a call no family ever wants to hear.
Advising that he entered the break room and shot someone.
6 people killed, multiple others injured as shots rang out in the Chesapeake Walmart. Wednesday night, police have now released the identities of those who did not survive. 43-year-old Lorenzo Gamble, 38-year-old Brian Pendleton, 52-year-old Kelly Pyle, 70-year-old Randy Blevins, 22-year-old Tynika Johnson. A 16-year-old boy was also killed, but because he's a minor, police have not released his name. Piles' cousin, William Pillar Gibson, said in a Facebook message, quote, "We are all devastated from the loss of such a wonderful person filled with hilarious sarcasm and love for her family."
And he was just saying he thought he was going to die.
24-year-old Jalen Jones made it outside with his life.
I'm grateful.
His mother, Kimberly Shoup, says when she heard about the shooting, she was praying for the best, but preparing for the worst.
If he's not answering his phone, he's not answering text messages, and there's a shooting at his job, you just kind of put 2 and 2 together and you're kind of hoping for the best, but you just pray that everything's going to be all right.
Jones, a Walmart associate, is recovering now at Centera Norfolk General Hospital. Shoup says he told her he noticed his manager acting strange, and then he saw the gun. Shoup says a bullet grazed his ear, and he tried to run to the front of the store for help, but was then shot in the back.
He's just glad to be alive.
Shoup urges everyone to hold their loved ones close.
The people you love in your life, just make sure you always let them know you love them, because you just never know when they walk out the door if you're ever going to see them again.
Shoup says as her son heals physically, it will take time to heal emotionally as well.
Sarah, a question here. How is Jones doing tonight?
His mother tells us he's doing a lot better. Earlier this morning when he arrived, he was on a ventilator. He's no longer on that ventilator. He's stable. He's talking. And we've also learned that one other person has been released from the hospital. They were initially listed in good condition. There's still 2 people here at Centera Norfolk General that they are still caring for.
All right. Thank you, Sarah. Well, the mass shooting has sent shockwaves across Hampton Roads.
Yeah, tonight, the community is doing what they can to honor the lives lost and extend well wishes to those hurt. Angelique Arentock picks up our live team coverage now at the Walmart where a memorial is growing.
Angelique, you attended several vigils for the victims tonight.
Some are turning to faith during this time, and others are leaning on each other in this community. This tree on Sam's Circle, surrounded by balloons, flowers, candles, and now windmills, serves as just one reminder that so many stand with the victims. One after another, people come to stop by the growing memorial outside the Chesapeake Walmart Supercenter.
I brought my love, my heart, my thoughts and prayers, but definitely some flowers because I felt like I had to do something, you know, to show my love and support because this is our Walmart.
While Chesapeake native Teresa Yeager says she does not personally know any of the 6 victims killed or any of the multiple wounded, she says she still can't wrap her mind around what happened.
I just don't understand why. And the kid was a 16-year-old kid. He hasn't even started his life yet.
About 20 minutes away in the Great Bridge section of Chesapeake, more than 24 people gathered to unite in song and prayer at St. Thomas Episcopal Church.
We say this isn't normal, or we don't want this to be normal. And we say we're going to gather.
Back at Walmart,
it rattles the whole community.
Chesapeake native Kathy Stafford believes there is a path forward.
God willing. Yeah, just baby steps, because I'm still kind of in shock and kind of numb.
More than 24 hours after the initial call about an active shooter inside the Walmart, crime tape and police cruisers still line the area. Philip, it's now been more than 48 hours since tragedy unfolded inside the Supercenter. While memorials like this one on Sam's Circle keep growing, harrowing accounts from eyewitnesses are coming to light. Just 5 days on the job, Jessie Wilczewski recounts what she describes as an awful thing.
Came in through the door, started shooting, and he went across like that.
Jessie is referring to the man who Walmart corporate officials say most recently worked as an overnight team lead. She recounts hiding under a table, not even registering what happened at first. But now the images are clear, graphic, and painful to hear.
I had to sit there on the floor and in front of me watch my coworker have her last moments. The sound of all the blood dripping off the chairs.
In those moments, she thought about her coworkers and her baby son. She says the gunman left the break room at one point and then came back.
And he had the gun pointed at me. And then he went like this and put the gun up. And then he just looked at me and said, "Jessie, go home."
Jessie will never understand why she was spared.
I don't know why he told me. I don't know.
Thankful to make it out alive, but struggling with survivor's guilt. Jessie hopes speaking out in some way can bring the families closer to peace.
I just wanted them to know that I didn't let their loved ones that they missed today have their last moments by themselves.
Jessie also says she has trouble leaving home right now and driving up to the Walmart. She also details a long journey ahead in mentally rebounding after what happened. Back to you.
Hundreds of people came to Chesapeake City Park to mourn and honor the victims of the Walmart mass shooting. Buses full of people walked onto a field lit with candles to honor and remember the lives lost in the Walmart mass shooting, each with their own story.
A loving son, brother, husband, a grandmother, a best friend. He was a good student, and he loved to read. He loved taking care of his family and adored his parents.
Sisters Kiera and Kayla Doby came to the vigil to support the family of 16-year-old Fernando Chavez Baron, who died in the shooting.
Still hard to take in the fact of what has happened.
The sisters say the vigil helped them understand they are not hurting alone.
It was very heartwarming to see everybody come out and support and come together to grieve and mourn the loss of everybody.
Governor Glenn Youngkin also attended the service.
Yet another act of senseless violence fills our hearts with unspeakable sadness, shock, and anger. To move forward without fear, without trouble, has become for many an arduous task.
Many people at the vigil, like the Dobie sisters, say they are praying for the families and showing support through unity.
You're so strong, and I know together we can make it through this for sure.
In Chesapeake, Angelo Vargas, 13 News Now.
And I am strong.